Hi, I'm Elizabeth Penix. Welcome to Step Into Love. I'm a stepmother, I'm an attorney, I'm a biological mother, and I have learned a lot of things over the years. So, with this video, what I'm hoping to do is give you very basic and impactful tips for what you need to do to consider becoming a stepmother. You're a professional woman, you've achieved a lot in your lifetime. You know how to get things done, and you know how to do them well. But what you may not know is that the complication of becoming a stepmother throws a lot of emotional wrenches into what normally would be a very successful process for you. So I'm going to dive deep and I'm going to give you 5 impactful tips for what you can do to best prepare to become a stepmother. 1, the first thing you want to do is align with your partner on a shared vision for what this partnership and this parenting duo will look like. You have to have a united front, and communication solves this problem for the most part. So have that conversation, and in that conversation, decide what are some common discipline scenarios that might come up. What do you do together or separately if the children lie? What if they hurt each other? What if they hurt your children that you brought to the marriage? What if one of them says, "You're not my parent"? What do you do? These are common scenarios in step families. You have to be prepared for them. Then also talk about the time commitments that each of you will spend with the children. What are the expectations going to be? And I always recommend that when two partners sit down as step parents to a biological parent, come up with a step family agreement. This is what my contribution will be. This is what my expectations are. And you're going to have to revise this as you go because schedules change, children's needs change, their ages change, their stages change. So all of this is an ongoing process. But I would sit down about once a quarter and go through this step family agreement and see if it works. And you two should come to this agreement between you so that you don't have any major fundamental conflicts in front of the children. That is going to lend itself, obviously, to a much better, successful blended family situation than if you were to figure it out in front of them as you go. Number 2, do your own emotional work. Take inventory of what you are bringing to this family, to this blended situation. What do I mean by that? Reflect on yourself, reflect on your past relationships, reflect on your childhood. Reflect on what you think you will struggle with. It's worth taking this inventory because what you can do then is really either dig into those things yourself and therapize, get some help, either journal about it or talk to a therapist, dig into your own trauma, but understand what it is that's going to trigger you and what it is that's going to upset you. Maybe it's certain words, maybe it's certain behaviors, maybe it's certain disrespect, but you have to know yourself and you have to heal yourself. If you're going to be the best version of yourself as a stepmother, especially to stepchildren that are not children that you gave birth to, that are not children that you raised from infancy till now. So really make sure you dig into yourself and know yourself. And what this could look like then is that when you go to make this agreement with your partner about what step parenting or parenting together is going to look like, you're going to understand. For example, I don't have patience for XYZ, so I'm going to need you to handle those things, and I will gladly take the children to all of their activities because I really feel good when I do that. So it really informs the conversation with your step-family agreement as well. So know yourself and journal and make sure you understand your own triggers as you go into the situation, because what it can do then is prevent a lot of pain and mistakes, parenting mistakes, things you may regret. So you're going to say things you may regret. You might do things you'll regret, and you just may not be prepared for all of the scenarios. You're never going to be prepared for everything, but at least try to get prepared for as much as you can. That's step number 2. Tip number 3, and this one is one of my favorites. It should come naturally to you because you are a successful woman. You're going to want to implement a trust building plan. And what that could look like is a basic 6 to 8 week plan where you schedule time and prioritize time with your stepchildren. Maybe you want to prioritize one on ones with them, depending on how many there are and depending on the ages. But you can even do this before you've entered a marriage or before you've even decided if you're going to become their stepmom, just to establish some of that trust and rapport. So, what am I talking about? I'm talking about game nights. Maybe you're going on hikes once a week. Maybe you're just doing a FaceTime with them at 4 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon after school. But establishing that reliable consistency goes a long way to building their trust in you and your presence in their life as a reliable and good person, somebody that loves and cares about them. This is going to be a lot more effective than rushing in and getting to know them in 2 weeks with a full immersion program, with a whole love bomb honeymoon situation. And that's just it could backfire big time, because then what they could realize is like, oh my goodness, this woman is taking over my life and I really love my mom. It just can create a lot of reverberations. So go easy, go slow, be nice, be loving, be authentic, and communicate with them and build that trust and reliability. You know how to do a 6 to 8 week plan. And if you do those scheduled check ins and you have those game nights across time, you're going to get to know them better and they're going to get to know you better, and you'll have a lot of fun doing it. Tip number 4, a really critical aspect of having this kind of a communicative relationship in a step family is establishing that communication framework for you and your partner, but also for you and your kids and your stepkids, as to what you're going to do when some scenario or sticky situation happens. This framework should be written out in its simplest form and put anywhere where you might gather. So maybe it's in the kitchen. Maybe you've got it posted on the refrigerator, but the framework should be something that lends itself to respect for each other. Everybody gets a chance to be heard, and there are authorities for how you will treat each other. There are boundaries. So, if you establish this framework for each conversation, especially the ones that are going to be tough conversations, then everybody is heard and everybody feels like their interests are being considered. So I would recommend that the how of this is you write it down, you post it where there will be communication happening, and you abide by it. And if that means that one of these people in the relationship, for example, my spouse, needs time, so the pause is for 30 minutes at least before we have a conversation about it, especially if it's a hot topic, then we both speak, then you listen to each other, and we even can put a time limit on it so that there's not an endless barrage of anything that's not relevant to the conversation. But these are some frameworks to think through and talk through and have on hand before you even get into these situations. And you know how to do this. It's like Robert's rules of the road for when you have a meeting. These are things that can really make your communication successful and cool, especially when it matters the most. And the last tip for this video, tip number 5, is to protect and preserve your well-being and your own identity. I talk about this a lot because if you don't do this, you can get completely lost in your relationship and you can completely become sorrowful about the person that you lost. So here's how to do it. Prioritize your self-care, whatever that looks like. If that's yoga, if that's quiet time, if that's working out, if it's treating yourself to a bottle of wine with your friends one night a week, your self care should not be sacrificed and it should become a regular cadence item, just like the quality time with your family will be. You have to have quality time with yourself for your own restoration, for your own repair. Build that support system, have it in place, and go to it, because friendships need to be fostered as well, because your friends will probably be the ones that can get you through this whole step family challenge if there are many challenges, because your partner may not be the best one to help you, your family may not understand, or maybe they're a little too close to you and they may gain their own biases. You're going to want to have a support network. And that's a couple of trusted friends that can really listen and really actively help you to think through whatever it is that you're going through. But do protect your well being and preserve your own identity. So, what I could do is recommend that you block time on your calendar, just like you would a meeting. Maybe it's just like a weekly meeting at the office, and you dedicate time to yourself. Share your experiences and your struggles with the people that actually can help you so that you can maintain that trust with those friends. You can maintain your own identity, and you can have a little fun on this step parenting journey when it gets really hard. And that's just 5 high impact tips so that you can become and consider becoming the most successful version of a step parent that you could be. Because ultimately, with your leadership and with your love, the whole family can benefit. Because what you're doing is you're not only building more of a family with this step family, but you may also transform their lives. And these children, like I always say, they have one childhood, and we really want to get it right for them so that they can grow up to be amazing parents and amazing step parents one day. And you'll be a major part of that. So I hope you found this useful and helpful. And if you did, please save it, share it with someone who's considering becoming a step parent, and follow my YouTube channel, Step Into Love, and Live and Hope Productions for more content. I'll keep it coming.